Okay, guys, wanted to get another video up of some sort. I got a lot of stuff. I just haven't put it together, but wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on, in America. And I've been doing a lot of soul searching, researching, and things like that. Where's the dollar going to stretch? Where am I going to get the money to go a long distance on a short bit of money? A lot of people are living off of, they're making $120,000 a year between a husband and wife, or maybe they're making more between the husband and wife. But the cost of things have gone so astronomically high in the United States of America that you really, as a single person making, let's say 30,000, which used to be I've made that pretty consistently most of my life, really, which is nothing. People laugh about that. Well, that's very true, but that used to be the dream. That used to be what could make you survive and still save a little money and have a decent vehicle and things of that nature. So anyway, I wanted to kind of discuss here whatever and kind of show you some big things that's changed here in the past 5 to 6 years. And we'll kind of go into it. And what I find to be one of the four best ways to take care of living and enjoying and venturing and all that. And that's the biggest thing is, I could have gotten married. I had some chances with girls that I could have got married to and lived in a beautiful house and continued to work and had that, if you want to call it mundane, it is to me mundane. It's not to other people, and that's fine. But for me, doesn't work. I have itchy feet, itchy boots. I want to go. I want to travel. I've always enjoyed going around the next bend. I've always enjoyed, exploring and things of that nature. I will do that until I basically just can't do it anymore. But the other side of the coin is, yes, it's extremely expensive. Food, rent, taxes, insurance. The biggest thing that irritates me is, property taxes, road tax on your gas. You pay for your water, you pay for your electric, you pay for your garbage, you pay for your sewer, it's just pay. And then internet, television, things like that nature has gotten up to, a couple $100 a month for just your TV and your internet. And I know people that have it that way. My sister is one of them. I know what her internet and her cable bill is, and it just blows my mind. And of course, they have trash pickup, and they have, they don't pay for their water and sewer because they have a well and a septic. But a lot of people in the town doesn't have that. But I'm going to show you. One place here, and I'm just going to kind of go into some different things of what goes on here. This is a restaurant that is purchased by a girl that I kind of know roughly. It's up for sale now. And what happened is when they bought this, and every time you buy a property, anytime you buy something, it becomes uncapped. And what I mean by uncapped is the taxes get reevaluated, reassessed, and usually double. Maybe sometimes they triple. Most of the time they double. Well, now, anybody can do this. You can look up any of these things. It's all public knowledge, what the taxes are on things. And this place here is $34,000 a year for taxes. It's not waterfront. It's across from the marina, so it has a nice view, but it's not waterfront. It's just setting back up in here, and you can see it's starting to get growth in here. I think it's been for sale for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. I don't know, something in that ballpark. But they just can't make a go at it with those kind of taxes, and then 25, 30 employees, which we're now at $20 an hour for people anymore, or at least 15 to 18, which is fine because it had to get up to a point where they can pay the thing. Now we're going to go down here a little bit further, and I'm going to show you some more things that I've looked up on the tax roll. And like I said, it's all public knowledge. I didn't take pictures of this stuff because I don't want to implicate any names or anything like that. But this stuff is all true. I've looked it all up. These homes here are brand new homes. There's about 4 of them or 5 of them here. They were built. Now these homes here are $15,000 a year in taxes, each one of these. Now, not the one here on the left there. That one hasn't been a rebuilt house, but these other 4 are all brand new. They were roughly $500,000. They were built about 5 years ago. Now, what's happening with the condos that's going on in our town is basically all these condos, people aren't renting. They won't rent them by the month. They will, but it's, $2,500, $2,700 a month. Now what they do is they're renting them out like an Airbnb. They'll get $1,000 a weekend or $2,000 a weekend, and usually what's happening is 2 or 3 or 4 people are splitting the bill on it or whatever, and that's that kind of a situation. Now we're gonna kind of cruise down here, and I'll show you. In the day, I spent two winters at this motel, I was able to rent this a little motel room here. They're nothing fancy, but it's right here on the right hand side. Now I stayed here 2 different winters, all winter long, and the one winter was $125 a week, and then the other one was $150 a week. And this was about, again, 5-6 years ago. So now what's happened with that motel is now $1,800 a month. It's basically about almost $450 a week. And that's the kind of things that's gone and changed on us. And that's the kind of thing that has really caused a ruckus. Now here's another prime example of a crazy situation. This place here, and you can look it up if you want to. This place here, it's called Water's Edge. This place here is $10,000 a week to stay here. It's $1,000 a night, roughly. Now what they do is they've got 3 floors or whatever they've got there, and what they do is they get 10 people that will come, a family or whatever, relatives, and they'll all pay $1,000 and they'll spend a week. Well, that's fine, but that's not conducive for anybody in my situation, or really probably 70% of the people in this area can't do those kinds of things. That's for people that are doctors, lawyers, engineers and things of that nature. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad situation by any means, but what that means is you are going to put in your 50 hours to 60 hours a week. And I just looked this up. People that they'll work till they're 67 years old or 65 years old. And yeah, they made it both below the money, but then they retire and game over and they're done. And that's kind of where it's at. Now I'll show you another spot that I used to stay at in the winter months. And it was super reasonable, but it's all changed. All right, so guys, this was another place that I used to stay. I've spent 3 different winters here. I think the first one was 1998, maybe, or 2000, something like that. And it was unbelievable. It was $175 a month and it's just a room with a bed and a shower. That's all it is. And then it went up to, I think, $175 a month. It went up to, I think, $300 a month. And then it went up to, of course, $600. Well, I called on this past winter, or 2 winters ago. I called, and boom, they do have some places that they rent through the course of the winter. But we are now at $1,800 a month. It's just, like I said, what's happened is they've just priced everybody right out that's trying to survive. If you've gone through a divorce, or you've had a hardship of maybe your house, the place had burned down, or lost your apartment, or lost your job, or whatever the case may be. We all have things that go on, but again, that's another one that's just insane for the price. Well, this is another one that used to be about $300 a month, maybe $600 a month max. And now you're looking at this place here. I called on this one two winters ago just to see what they got. Little kitchenettes and kind of a great little setup in a way. But again, we're at about $1,900 a month. So this place here, of course, I worked for this guy, so I kind of knew whatever the situation was, but I also looked it up. And taxes on this place is $20,000 a year. Now that's just pretty darn hard to try to make a living and get anywhere when you're dealing with that. And not only that, you've got all the insurances and taxes, or mostly all the insurances and all that go along with that stuff. But anyway, those are just a few of them, and I've looked up more. While I was in there on the tax roll thing and doing some researching, I kind of looked at a lot of different things, and and found that the taxes and stuff are really, really, really outrageous for our small town. But and it's that way everywhere. It's not just here. But anyway, I've got to go in here and get some stainless steel screws for the boat to replace, and then we'll talk a little more. All right, guys, I showed you a little bit of some stuff there, and I will tell you kind of what I've found or what I have experienced in my 30 years of basically camping and living on boats, campers, motorhomes, tents, all ways possible. And I did it out of, I've always enjoyed that, but I did it out of a little bit of necessity in a way, because I wanted to be able to save some money and live a pretty decent existence on a very low type of income. So what I have found, and let me get a sip of coffee here, just kind of getting rolling here. What I have found is the number one way to travel and see things, do things, experience things, see the next corner, live fairly free with very, very little. And there's lots of channels out there that will showcase this, but that number one is on a motorcycle. And preferably, I've owned 6, 7, 8 of them. What I've found is you've got to pick one that you can kind of get out there and move along at a pretty good clip, 50, 55 mile an hour, stay up with traffic, try to stay somewhat on the 2-lane roads. I mean, the interstates are actually probably safer in a way for that, but you've got to try to shoot for something that's 50 miles to the gallon or more, because other words, you're not gaining anything. You might as well go to a different route. Now, again, they're very simple to work on in many ways. They're pretty reliable for the most part. The maintenance is very low. They're easy on gas and gas mileage. They're pretty comfortable for the most part, as long as you're doing 100, 200 miles a day and stretching that out, in the course of an 8-10 hour day if you want, or whatever. Now, the downside to it is, all around comfort, because you're going to tent all the time. Or if you can do motels and stuff like that, that's great, but that's pretty much defeating the purpose. A motel once every 2 weeks is not a bad thing. Gives you a chance to charge everything up, clean everything up, wash everything up, and kind of recharge your batteries and get on with your way. You're setting tent up, you're cooking for the most part. I mean, if you're doing all this, you're doing it because of the budget situation. If you've got plenty of money, you might as well go a different route. Now, that's the one way to go about it. And you can always deliver food on the motorcycle. I've done it a lot. It's actually very, very easy and very, very reasonable to make $30-40 in a couple 2-3 hours, and that gets you by every day living. So that's a great way to go. The second way that I have found to be really one of the great ways to go about things. One of the other things with a motorcycle is, again, finding places to camp that are free. That can be a little bit challenging. You're kind of we can go do a whole video on that. But if you want to go to Scooter Tramp Scotty or the Dirty Vagabond or something like that, them guys kind of cover that, pretty well. And it's not that big of a deal. Even Brenton from Backwaters and Back Roads is really good at finding campsites that are free and sneak back in, and any state or federal land or something like that is no problem. That's and you can do hammock camping. I've done it. It's not bad. I prefer the tent. I want a little more to stretch out, that kind of thing. But anyway, secondly, I think one of the best ways to go or whatever is a minivan. Really, Breton is a great one on this one, so you can check his channel out. And he does these little cars that get 50 miles to the gallon and makes them basically a tin tent that's moving. Has an engine on it. But a minivan, and I've done it. You can buy a minivan for $1,700, tear the seats out of them, throw them away, make the back into whatever, put a solar panel on top with a power station, and you're pretty well in great shape. And you still get about 25 miles to the gallon, 26 miles to the gallon, which is not bad if you're running 55 mile an hour. Now again, you've got insurance and maintenance and gas. And that's the other great thing with a motorcycle. The motorcycle is, $20 a month on your insurance. That's killer. On a vehicle in Michigan, you're getting really, really rooked here with our situation in insurance. But there is other places and stuff that you can do the insurance that's a lot more reasonable. But we are horrible. Michigan, I think, is first or second highest vehicle insurance in the United States. So anyway, that's not a bad way. But again, you can't stand up, you can't change clothes, or that kind of thing. You're limited on what you're going to carry. If you break down, it's a little bit more cost, or this or that or the other thing. Now, one of the third ways that I have found, and this is my favorite, and it always will be, get yourself a boat. And basically, you can just live off your boat with a little kayak to get back and forth. Pick up a moped or something like that and chain it, in an area where you can know it's safe, and you can live on the boat for free. And it's really, you don't get hassled, you don't get bothered. Where in a vehicle, you could get the old, the knock. Everybody knows what the knock is if you've ever been around van life. Or camping or anything, and you're trying to do it, free camping and stuff like that. You always have that, I'm pretty good at finding where I'm not going to get the knock anymore. I used to get it here and there, but I don't get that anymore. I can pick my places pretty well. So that's another, but anyway, being on the boat, you don't have that. Nobody's going to knock. Nobody's going to hassle you. I find it to be the key on the boat is to keep it clean, keep yourself clean, look respectable, move that boat maybe every 2 weeks to a different little location, not very far away, so they know that the boat's moving and you're anchoring in different spots and things of that nature. Don't anchor in front of a $1 million home, or anchor in front of big condos and things like that where people are because it's always, what it all boils down to is when somebody makes the call, that's when trouble arises and you're going to end up having things. The authorities are pretty much not going to bother you on anything. For the most part, they really won't. I have never found. It's always somebody makes a call. That's what fires up the inquiries and the getting into your business and things of that nature. Make sure the boat's registered. Make sure you got all the stuff on the boat: fire extinguisher, life preservers, whistle or a horn. Let's see here. I think there's like 4 things. Of course, life jackets, that kind of thing. Just make sure you have your stuff and make sure you're up on stuff and research it. And just make sure you're good. But you can move all the time where you want to go with your boat and things like that. I've lived in the Keys, in spots, in Islamorada, in Marathon, and stuff for 4 months for free. And it is a little bit of a struggle, but it's not bad. Again, the hard part about it is again, with all these, is keeping clean. And the greatest way to do that is basically, in my opinion, do the gym membership, and you can get your showers or whatever. Other than that, you can take and go turn around and on the boat and stuff. If you've got fresh water, you got no problem. You can always bathe and stuff in fresh water. But when you have salt water, it makes it extremely rough. So you've got to have fresh water to be able to kind of rinse off and that kind of thing. You can, getting water out to your boat and stuff like that. So you have plenty of water and all the stuff. That can be a little hard to move your all your things that you're needing, the groceries and all this, and coming in for laundry and that. So there's a lot of things, but I find the boat thing and the freedom is absolutely wonderful. It's a great way to go. In that regard. So I will always, and again, you can find, there's a sailboat right now for free, and I know what boat it is. I've done a video on it. They're giving it away finally, because whatever, and you can live on it. I told a kid about it here in town, and he's been wanting to live on a boat for the summer and stuff like that. So I think he's going to go get it. At least he said he was going to go inquire about it the other day, and He's just going to keep it on the hard for this coming winter and then clean it up and throw it in the spring, and he can live on it. I actually looked at it this spring myself. Now the other way, and I think one of the most luxurious way or luxury way, is to turn around and do it with an RV. A Class C, or like a road trek, or a Coachman, or anything like that, a motorhome and that. Now you've got all your things in there. You've got, of course, gas mileage is going to be horrible, but you've got all the amenities. You can cook and clean and use a restroom. You've got shower. You've got all the goodies that you need on that. And you can also pull a little scooter or a motorcycle or whatever you want, a little trailer or something like that, or pull your boat or whatever you want to do. In that regard, again, it's just that is probably the most costly. Now, what happens with an RV, the nice thing about an RV, at least in Michigan, is the insurance drops down to hardly nothing because it's an RV. And I don't know, it's just the way it's classified, so the insurance is extremely low. Now, the RV, again, finding a place to camp can be a little more taxing. Your Walmart or Cracker Barrels or parking lots. Of course, BLM land out west, and state forest land and federal forest land and stuff here in the northern part, and even in Florida and things of that nature. But you've got a lot of them have a generator and that, so you've got some more access to power that you might need. So that's certainly another way to go. All four of these ways have good sides, and they have the bad sides. So you kind of have to look at what works for you, what's your budget, what is it that you want to accomplish, how far do you want to travel, do you want to travel all the time every day, do you want to set up a base camp and be there for an entire month and just scout out around and stuff, maybe with a scooter or something like that. It all depends on what you're looking to do. But you're going to find probably with everything, except pretty much everything is going to require fuel. Even your boat, sailboat's a different kind of thing. They have that's a whole nother video because they have their good sides and their bad sides. They don't have a lot of room on them on the back and stuff in the cockpit. Not like a powerboat. Powerboat usually has a huge back area where you can put some chairs, and if you've got canvas that you can enclose in the back, you've got a whole nother room. Sailboats, you're going down in below, or you kind of are with a monohull powerboat, but it's a little bit different. You can powerboats, you can get into a lot shallower stuff, where the sailboat you can end up grounding and having troubles there and stuff like that. So there is a lot of ups and downs with what kind of boats you pick. Shanty boats, of course, are great, but they're limited too, and they're limited to a little bit of waves and water and that kind of thing, and moving around a little quicker or something like that. Houseboats are great too, but I've never done a houseboat because they're so big and they're hard to trailer and they're hard to move around and they're hard to get, from one point to another point, and they're usually inboards, outboards, which IOs, which tend to have troubles and have problems and that kind of thing. So that is some more. Like I said, you can do a whole video on all of those things, but that's just to cover it. And here, my point on all of this is basically you're going to see this van life and this living on a bike or living in boats are becoming more and more popular and this and that because of the cost of things. It's just, you can with all four of those that I've said, you can live very well on $20,000 a year, but you can live on $10,000 a year even with it. I've done it. So, you don't have to go out here and work 60 hours a week and bust your hump till you're 67 and then, get sick or have a arthritis or, of course, cancer or anything that comes up, and just boom, you're done. You've wasted all those 40 years of working, and now you can't go do the things you wanted to do. So anyway, that's how I've done it, and I would never change it. and I will continue till I can't do it anymore, because I just enjoy the exploring and meeting new people and doing different things and seeing new things and all that. That part is what I like. I don't care for the traffic. I don't care for the big volumes of people and things like that. So I just have to take the good with the bad, and it is what it is. But the cost of things have completely strangled the American dream. You know, the American dream is gone. It's not here anymore. The boomers had the last American dream thing. We don't have it anymore. You know, you can't go out and spend $400,000 on a house and then have a couple cars for you and your wife or whatever, you and your partner, whatever, and try and, you know, and then the food costs and all the stuff that's going along with all this. You can't make it. You just can't. There is just, I mean, it's just a stress and a struggle and all that. Every day, in my opinion. I mean, it's horrible. So with this situation, I think you're going to see more of it, and I hope it turns and ends up good. And that's all I can say is please be responsible when you do this. You know, van life or a boat or a motorcycle, whatever. Just be respectable, be low keyed. You know, try to take care of yourself, look good. Take care of your garbage, take care of your stuff, leave a place with only footprints, don't leave it with trash, things like that. You know, I mean, that's the thing with the homeless thing is, you know, it's just they've really made a bad situation for people that are trying to do this and whatever, but it's probably been that way for a long time. But it is getting worse. I see more and more homeless even in little towns such as where I'm at. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, all this stuff. It's kind of a long video or whatever, but I think it covered some good things. And I think if you're looking to do anything like this or whatever, it is really a great way to go. It really is. I mean, you know, I watch Bob Wells from time to time, and he hit the nail on the head 10 years ago when he was doing this. And it's more important now than it ever, because we can't make it. I mean, you just can't make it. If you're hitting, you know, 60 years old and you're getting a Social Security and a small pension, and say you're getting $2,000 a month or something like that, you have to do this. And you can make this happen really great and enjoy it, and it'd just be wonderful. So, you know, don't think it's a struggle. Think of it as it's an adventure, and it's doable, and you will be able to save money, a little bit of money, and you'll be able to survive unless things continue to do. Now, what they are trying to do is, of course, they're trying to make you homeless, and then they're trying to punish you for it. So that's why I say you got to stay clean, you got to look good, you got to be respectable, you got to kind of be diligent in this, or you're going to get pinched on it. So, all right, guys, thanks again. We'll get some more videos up. We got a whole bunch of stuff going. We're actually heading for Kentucky Lakes in about 10 days, and we're going to go explore and fish and just check out all kinds of cool stuff and have some fun. Anyway, till we put another video up and see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please like, share if you like this content, and we'll see you guys in a few days on another video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.